Yo, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Earth Mac, the mad scientist.
And Vivo.
This is the Orange Phoenix Show anime breakdown live, man. Vivo, how are you today on this fine Monday?
It's been a really busy weekend. Had to work all day Saturday. I got 10,000 steps in working my event,
Okay.
and my
You did get
ankles
some
were
gym
both
time,
turned
right?
to the left by the time I finished.
You got some gym
Listen,
time in, right?
yeah, and then went to check out this new gym out in Shelby Township, Michigan called Umbra Strength. So if any of our viewers are from Michigan, Detroit area, go check out Umbra. It's awesome.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Me, what I've done this over the course of this weekend, I did run some errands. I visited the comic book store, Heroes and Dragons. Shout out to Heroes and Dragons off of Bush River Road. I had a stack of comic books I really wanted to get rid of and sell. So, and I mean, they weren't really worth anything, honestly, because trust me, I did look on eBay to see if I can flip them. But so I got about $40 off of that. But on top of all that, I had some stuff on my pull list. And so I bought a bunch of Spawn comics, which was not on my pull list, but I really do love the artwork of Spawn, like as a comic. And I just made it over the $25 mark because anytime you spend $25 or more, you get this card and they stamp it with a star. So if you get enough stars on the card, you automatically get $25 off on your next purchase
Oh, that's
of
good.
comic books. So that helps out a lot. And you know, if you're like dealing with comic books like the way I am, you're gonna need that $25 off. Like it comes in handy. And you got a year to actually knock all that stuff out. So I got another card. So I know full well I'm gonna give me another one. So if I'm able to get about $50 off, like with two cards, I'm good. You know, plotting. So last night, I was catching up on some shows. I was watching Star Wars: A Bad Batch, and it was something I really wanted to catch up on because I was halfway through the first season. Finished the first season. I'm like halfway through the second season, and I'm in the third season. Is like is the final season, so I'm trying to finish that out because I'm going to write about it in next month's issue of Orange Phoenix magazine. Because I'm really curious on what happens with those set of starship. I'm not saying starship troopers. Those set of star troopers, stormtroopers. Getting tongue tied. Stormtroopers that were defective because
Okay.
when Order 66 went on, the stormtroopers automatically got turned on to kill the Jedi. But this set of stormtroopers didn't have that inhibitor chip. That inhibitor chip didn't go off of them, so they have a conscience, and they're looking after this kid named Omega, and they're like going on adventures with her, or she's going on adventures with them primarily, and it's a heartwarming story. I really do like the story. If you are familiar with Star Wars, Clone Wars, like the animated series, man, which is top tier stuff, Bad Batch is definitely up there with Clone Wars. So,
So you just mentioned comic books, and I was actually talking to my bestie, and she was asking me if I would come out and visit her because apparently the Schaumburg Center's 12th annual Black Comic Book Festival is going on Friday 26th through Saturday April 27th in New York.
oh, are you
So
going?
that might be something for us to see about. I don't know if I can swing that because I'm technically coming back from a work conference, but we can figure something out.
Oh yeah. There's always ways to figure that out. Now, come on now. I mean, New York. I'm pretty sure. Dude, coming from Michigan to New York, that plane ticket shouldn't be too expensive. I would.
I have my conference is in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Random.
Yo, you definitely can work that out. Like that's
I have to figure out the logistics because
right.
my work with their travel can be weird. So I'll research and follow up.
Yeah, please do, man. So today We are talking about Solo Leveling episode 11 and Ninja Kamui episode 7. We are getting closer and closer to the season finale of Solo Leveling. We only got one more episode, people. That is next week, which is episode 12. And I'm been hearing rumors that episode 12 is a doozy. And if it's anything like episode 11, like what we're going to talk about today, man, I cannot wait. And then, of course, you got Ninja Kamui episode 7. Now, with these two, when Solo Leveling ends for the season, we're going to be without an anime. But Vivo and myself, we have been talking about what anime we want to cover next. But we're going to leave it up to you guys. We're going to leave it up to the poll. We're going to leave it up in the Geek Corner and have you guys vote on the next anime you want us to cover. And eventually, Ninja Kamui will end as well. And we're going to need to replace Ninja Kamui too. So we're going to let you vote again. So we're going to ask your input on what you want us to cover versus us just picking out one. But we do have a list of anime and you get to vote on which one that you want us to cover next. So I will be posting that after the show and you go ahead and vote. So you got this week and you have next week. Next week, I will say Wednesday. That's the deadline to go ahead and get your votes in on the next anime you want us to cover after Solo Leveling. So,
let us
cannot
know.
wait, man. I mean, I hope y'all pick a certain anime because I'm peeping some of these first episodes, and Vivo has too. And we've been talking off air about some of these, and we hoping that you pick one. But all of them are good, the ones that we pick. So go ahead and get your vote on. So we're gonna talk about Solo Leveling, man. Gino gets whooped. That's just pretty much what it is. Like he got hands. He caught hands.
Egress. I was like,
listen, Egress, man. Egress is a boss.
I mean, okay, so you know how like anime guys will have like their waifus or whatever.
Yeah.
Us anime girls, we have our husbandos. Egress is one of them.
Egress.
Because listen,
okay.
The way he was giving Gina business, I was like, "Are you gonna let him breathe? Let him get up. Let him get up. Oh, you're not okay.
Yeah, fight back. Fight back.
It was great. I mean, his character design, like it was. I loved his character design, and actually, that entire fight reminded me. I mean, it was like, for whatever reason, I was really getting Dark Soul vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, the actual combat was like a little higher level than Dark Soul vibes, but just the entire ambiance of the entire encounter, I was like, why do I feel like I'm watching something out of Dark Souls right now? Because that's
first boss in Dark Souls, the first one, or the first boss in Elden Ring, you get waxed. But
yes.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but I just thought it was also interesting too because I felt like Egress showed some semblance of personality,
mm-hmm.
because he was fighting with his sword at first, and then he decided, okay, well, and then Gino put his dagger away because he realized this isn't doing any damage. And so Egress peeked that and he was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're going to do. And he dropped his swords and he took his cape off. And then he started squaring up.
He pulled Piccolo.
And Gino was like, oh, so you think this is going to be easy? And it was for the first half of that episode.
Yes, it definitely was. Egress definitely had personality. That is the first boss that we've seen that showed something, some sort of personality.
I felt like he was trolling Gino the entire time.
He definitely.
And then when Gino got that landed that kick, it pissed Egress off, and so then his aggro went all the way.
Yeah, he was like,
and then did you
touch me?
That's when he grabbed him by the leg and kept throwing like this. I was like, bro, wow.
He straight brolied his ass. He grabbed his face and just threw the concrete, man. I was like, And what's funny about it is that Egress wasn't the first opponent for Geno. Like Geno had to fight like a plethora of other armored enemies or whatever the case may be. And he was able to figure them out, but I mean, that's one thing I didn't think about. Like, okay, you got all these potions, you got all these items, but the minute you go through this dungeon, it's prohibited. You can't heal. You got to go off of what you have. That means you got to use your smarts. It ain't just brute strength. Completely went over my head because I'm putting myself in his position. I was like, okay, I ranked up high enough. I done several sea dungeons. I done leveled up the way I want to, whatever the case may be. So now I'm able to take on these dungeons, not realizing there's certain like situations in a dungeon that prohibits you from using certain moves.
Yeah.
So, and he said he hasn't ranked up his intellect yet, and he had to go against a mage, and he had to figure it out.
He learned he learned the hard way, because at that point he was like, I have to conserve my mana because in order to use my skills. And you would think that, I feel like after this we're gonna see him start ranking up his mana more, or his intellect more, so that he can actually make more use of his skills, because when him being in the dungeon like this, he has to have enough bandwidth in order to use his skills to the fullest extent, because like literally he really did win that fight with Egress by pure luck.
Look, he acknowledged that. He acknowledged that.
Yep.
By the skin of his teeth. Like, he just got a lucky shot in.
And then we get to the end of the episode and we're like, so this wasn't it. The quest actually hasn't even started yet. Nah. It was like,
you got to kill these guys to see how long you last. Like, I just.
And then it was like, good luck.
Yeah, like, come on, man. That's just straight torture. See, me personally, I thought Egress was going to get back up. The way the camera was panning out, and I was like, okay, Egress about to get back up again. Like, it's going to be one of them situations where we've played like Dark Souls before, like we played Elden Ring before, like we think we won it and a whole nother meter just comes up.
Yeah, and then like, the music changes.
I was like, I did all this damage.
No, but he already knew, because he was like, why did I get this teleportation stone? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, all those portals started, all the spawn portals started opening up.
You're like, I can get out whenever I can. Oops, I dropped my teleportation stone. Now, shit. Now I have to fight these guys. I have to fight Egress. Now, here's a question, though. I must have missed this. Did they replenish his HP after he beat, Egress, or he still...
I don't think they did.
Oh, damn. Come on, Geno, man. Come on, man.
No, I was also reading it too, and there was no indication. I think he had a little bit, I think there was like a little bit of time where he was able to rest in that, while he was going through the loot that he got.
Yeah.
So that probably lowered his fatigue, but I don't believe his mana. He did get that lukewarm water. So I don't know if that would have replenished anything. I don't think it did, though.
Maybe his stamina. That probably not that. I probably jumped up his stamina a little bit, because he had to use everything at his disposal for Egress. Like you said earlier, like the minute that he got to put his dagger away, he was like, "Oh, well, I got some honor about myself. Let me put my sword down, take my cape off. They got some other extra weapons in it, and I'm gonna show you these hands, because you think you're gonna be at an advantage now. I'm not like these other knights. I have red armor, which is tight armor, by the way. Like, he definitely looked like a Dark Souls villain. It was definitely
like Artorias.
Yes, and I was like, man, I hope you get his gear, because he was able to put it on without changing his outfit, which I really do like that aspect of it. Because I feel like if we were to see him different, it probably wouldn't have hit the same. It probably would just been like any other isekai. And I do like the fact he's in like regular clothes, and no matter how much armor he put on himself, it still looks the same. Now the other thing though is Geno at the dinner table. what his brother told him, and he was like, "Yo, I know you doing these C rank missions, and you quite ambitious, but stay out of my way though. If you think you're about to replace me." Say that again?
I said he can kick rocks.
Yeah, he told him straight out. He's like, "Listen, I know what you're doing, little bro, but don't come around my way."
He doesn't know about Genu.
No.
Because if he would have known about Genu, it would have been a different. Yeah.
I mean, but his older brother's like thirsting for power. That way it looks like.
Yeah. Also, I will say, back to his health, I just found a screenshot. It looks like his total health points are 10,278. He is currently at 1,036 after the initial start of what happens next. So his health hasn't been replenished at all.
Come on, man. Now, how long do you think he's gonna last? You think he's gonna last? Was it 5 minutes?
He was only 5 minutes.
You think he's gonna last for 5 minutes, or you think he's going to?
Well, he makes it past 5 minutes, but I don't know. We'll see if he has some kind of awakening and completely wrecks it. I mean, I'm gonna read ahead, so I'll know, but I haven't read that far ahead yet.
I'm trying to prevent it. I'm trying to prevent myself from actually reading ahead, but I'm very much tempted to do that. But once episode 12 airs and seeing how episode 12 is going to end, they might push me, because Demon Slayer got me like that. Because Demon Slayer was like, okay, man, it's so much of a gap between this season and the movie and this season and the movie. I'm gonna go ahead and read ahead. So I read ahead to the point that I finished it out, and I was like, okay, all right. Let's see how this looks animated. Let's see if it's gonna be different. And you already said like a few episodes ago that there is some subtle differences with Solo Leveling, and what I was saying with between the book and screen, sometimes the stuff in the book don't resonate well on screen, because with a book it explains a lot of things in detail, but you can't really put it in extreme detail because it might bore the viewer. Like you're trying to get to the key moments of the story. And with episode 11, what chapter? Do you know what chapter that is in the webtoon?
It is. Let me see. I want to say that it starts at episode 38.
Okay.
Yeah. So episode 38 is when he actually goes into the job change quest.
Okay. Cool. The job change quest. I got it. Now,
when he actually starts what he thinks is the job change quest.
Now, the other thing is the S-rank hunters preparing to go to the island, going to Jeju Island. Now, do you think, because again, it'll give us what the next episode is going to show us in episode 12. Do you think that this island episode is going to be episode 12? Because I've seen glimpses, but sometimes people put out AI and stuff like that, so I don't want to speculate. But do you think that's how episode 12 is going to end? Is them being on the island and then you find out? I
think that they might provide a little bit, a little snippet of it, but I think the main focus is going to be on Genu trying to get past this particular, overcoming this particular quest that's in front of him. I don't really. I think that them adding that Jeju Island reconnaissance mission. I don't think it's really been talked about in that much detail in the context of the the webtoon. I'm pretty sure that it was. I'm pretty sure that it was mentioned, but it's not. It hasn't gone. They haven't gone into it any additional detail as far with like what's in the anime. Okay. But I'm on episode 44 right now, so it's a possibility that they might actually go back to that, within the next few episodes of the webtoon.
Okay. Now, I'm really curious on Joe Higan and Choi, like what their abilities are. Because don't get me wrong, like Genu is a great main character. His character development has increased exponentially, like within a couple episodes. Like you see the change in him.
Yep.
I'm always fascinated with the side characters, like Choi, Joe Higan, like Jinho, Junhei. Like Junhei, I mean, obviously she retired, for obvious reasons, but I'm really, really curious about Choi and what he's able to do. Like kind of like with One Punch Man. Now, One Punch Man new season is coming out, in the spring. But the other characters in One Punch Man fascinates me, because One Punch Man is I won't say one dimensional, but he can't be beaten. It's like one punch, he gonna take you out. It hits the name.
He's so bored because of it.
Yeah, he's bored because of it. Like he wants a battle. He's like a walking Kenpachi. That's exactly who he is. So
not as reckless.
Oh, go ahead.
I said not as reckless though.
Not as reckless. Nah, he just want to go to the market and they go watch some things. He don't want to be bothered. But I am interested.
I just had that flashback when he was fighting, like in the first season when he was fighting that mosquito monster. He slapped the absolute dog shit out of her. She just died.
It's like,
it's over already?
Like, listen, man.
Wasn't Genos there too? And he was like,
he was getting waxed.
He was like, can you be my sensei now?
He was like, I don't want to be. He just smacked her. He just showed up. What? Yeah, he was coming from somewhere.
I think he was coming from the store.
Yeah. He was like, huh? He like, oh, chapow. Blood splat on the corner of the skyscraper. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, okay.
You're like, it's like that, okay.
Yeah. Like, don't show up for no other fights. Like, let's see a longer battle, because we know when you show up, it's just going to be over with, like with just one punch. And if you hold him back, maybe a couple. But I know by the end of this, Genu is going to be OP, is all get out. And I am very anxious to see that. I mean, he's already getting there. At this point in time, fighting Egress.
How many episodes is this? Wait. The webtoon is the finale. Okay, so episode 179 is the finale of the webtoon, and then they have 21 epilogue.
Yeah.
So I'm almost to the halfway point.
Okay. What rank would you put Genu at right now fighting? I say Egress, but Egress. Like what?
You mean like
at this point?
The hunter rank?
Yeah.
Well, probably high. Well, he probably is A rank.
Okay.
I don't think that Egress was A rank though. I feel like Egress was so much stronger than him. And even when Genu used his buffs, Egress was still more powerful and still faster. Like Egress was just watching, like he thought he was doing something like using his upping his speed stat, and Egress was watching him the entire time. And then when he tried to get him, Egress like was right there about like he got Egress knocked him out in his little speed run. So
he was like, oh,
literally it was pure luck that he won.
He was like, oh, you have speed.
And I will say that it was probably more like it was a kind of a cheap shot. I'm this is a life or death situation. You got to do what you got to do.
Yes.
But it was kind of a cheap shot on his part. But it's fine. I mean, it's not like he was getting him while his back was turned. Then it would have been much cheaper. But
I mean, in a life or death situation, man, all bets off. Like, but
Yeah.
I will say, Igris had honor. You know, it's like, listen, I'm not gonna slice you in half because you put your weapons down. Like, I'm gonna put mine down too. Don't think this is a disadvantage for me because I train in all arts of combat, unarmed and armed. Oh,
I'm
you
sorry.
got speed. I
When
have
he
that
took
as
his
well.
cape off, I was like, "Oh, this feels like it's about to be a street fight."
Yep, yep. I'm about to serve. I'm about to serve this stuff real cold.
But it's like, even when like Gino was in the room and Igris, made his entrance,
Yeah.
and Gino was like, "Oh my gosh, his name is in red." And I don't even think Igris gave him a chance to like breathe 3 times before he was already on him like white on rice.
Right here.
And
right here.
right, he materialized. And Gino was like,
when I saw him dash forward, I was like, oh, this is a major problem.
yeah. And that first slice, I was like, did he destroy the entire room? Because it looked like he destroyed the entire room.
That we looked like. It looked just like that. Because he wasn't a beast. Like, he wasn't like an animal. He wasn't like a giant snake. He wasn't like anything that Gino ever fought. He's basically was a man. And someone that have like the same dexterity as him, well, actually more.
Yeah.
And he just was Gino, but dial up to 11.
But after he beat him, I think the notification popped up and said he leveled up twice.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that whatever experience points he's getting towards his leveling up, he's probably now, because I want to say he's a level. Did it show it? Was it a level 48 or something? Or that might be just in the webtoon. He's like above, I feel like he's either 45 or 48. I can't remember. But it seems like now, in order for him to amass more experience, it's going to take more experience points for him to start really, leveling up. So he's going to have to face stronger opponents.
And just like just like any RPG you in, because at first when you first start out, it's easy to level up. The XP is fast, but once you get up there to a certain point,
it's like a grind.
It's a grind. Like, there's a ceiling there that you have to constantly break through, and you got to constantly grind to get that. Like,
but I think this job change quest though is giving him the opportunity to kind of fast track that a little bit.
Okay.
And if you look at his little stat notification box that pops up, where it says job, that's still empty. So him completing this quest will probably lead to some kind of title for him in that regard. And I'm really curious as to what that job title would entail. Like, does it give him additional buffs? Does it I'm really interested to see what that leads to. I'm gonna read ahead so I'll know.
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna go ahead and read it. Now, see, this is what you call, and I said it in one of my TikToks, internal peer pressure, right? It's like when people around you are reading something or playing something and you feel compelled to actually buy it yourself. They're not peer pressuring you, but you just like in your head, like, okay, I'm gonna do it. This is internal peer pressure. This is what's happening. Because Vivo been telling me that she's been reading ahead, but I feel like she was just planting seeds. Like, you need to read ahead. So I think that's what's happening. So by the time I watch episode 12,
one more week, and then you can start reading ahead.
Yeah. I'm doing well. I'm doing exceptionally well. Like, I haven't only read like maybe a chapter, but that's just like rereading what happened already in the anime.
Yeah.
So I've done exceptionally well. I haven't picked up a webtoon, haven't read ahead like that. So after episode 12, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in it, get my read on. So I think I did good for the first season, though.
Yes, good job.
So, and now as far as anime recommendation, I know we talked about this before. Shangri-La Frontier. A lot of people's raving about that. That's like one of those under the radar anime, and that's actually on that list as far as our poll is concerned. And if you like our content, go ahead and share. Go ahead and subscribe to the content. Go ahead and follow. our content, because every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday we will be doing live shows. Like Monday is always our anime breakdown nights. Tuesdays is our pro wrestling talk with myself, and then Thursday just regular nerd talk for myself and Boogie Blends with all the latest news over the past week or so. So far, like with Solo Leveling, do you think it lived up to the hype?
Yes.
Think so? Okay.
Well, I will. You know what's interesting is that I don't know. I don't know if I sent this to you, but as you know, people scroll through Facebook. It was actually in the group Urban Anime Lounge, and the title was that apparently a lot of Japanese fans thought that no anime really stood out this season. That the only good anime they thought was really Solo Leveling, and everything else they're not counting really, because technically like Frieren and Apothecary Diaries, they came out last anime season, but yeah. And I was like, well, that's interesting. But I think for, going by American, like, the American reception, I mean, I would say that Solo Leveling is probably one of the top ones right now that everybody's obsessed with.
But you know what? So you said that for the Japanese poll, right? Mm-hmm. So Japanese are hard critics when it comes to anime, because anime is like rampant. Like that's where it originated. So you see it during the day, you see it at night. It's kind of like a staple, really. Like, okay, I'm gonna use this for example. Outlaw Star, right? Back in the day, like it didn't hit very well in Japan, but in the West, like for us, like a bolt. Yeah, I was like, we were like, this shit is fire.
It is.
So
it is.
Yeah, so Japan holds things at a different standard than us. But I will say, so like you said, I will say Solo Leveling is up there as far as like the mainstream, as far as like 2024 is concerned. Did it overshadow some other anime that you may have missed? And yeah, you mentioned Apothecary Diaries. People have been raging about that. Haven't watched it, but people have been raging about it. People have been talking about it. So there's not enough hours in the day for all this anime, because I like to binge. I'm a binger. I like to binge, but I might have to get down to like an episode a day, or episode a week, following that formula or whatever. But just not enough hours in a day for some binging. So that's it for Solo Leveling, and now we are jumping into some Ninja Kamui, and we learn about Emma and Mari's relationship. So you want to take that, Vivo? Because you just recently watched that today. What you got?
Like, yeah, literally before we went live. You were like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Ninja Kamui." Yeah, I really liked this episode. One, because we actually saw what happened to Mr. Creeposaurus Rex.
Lil.
Yeah, we saw what happened to Lil.
This is his head.
Anyway.
This is his head.
I was not expecting that. They were like, they sent this to our front door. And then she pulled it. I was like, yo, what did he do to him? Not to say that he didn't have everything that he had coming to him. But goodness gracious, he went to work on him. But I really liked it because it gave a lot of different, a lot of helpful context to why Emma was helping Higan in the first place. And it was because, she originally, I think in the previous episode, she said that when she said that she had a relationship with Marie, she said that Marie saved her.
Yeah.
And so, I was thinking like, oh, she must have been on a mission and Marie came in and helped her. But no, we get to this episode and it's like basically Marie actually became a mother figure to her and helped raise her up in the ninja way, if you will. and they had like such a student mentor relationship. So and Marie said that I consider you a part of my family. So that was really really nice to see, illustrating just like the depth of their relationship, and why she basically decided to take the role that she ended up having, because she actually, I mean, being the watcher for the organization to determine, she's the one that's supposed to determine who is going to be the successor for the chieftain, the next chieftain. But even outside of that, she took her particular role because she wants to help her allies that feel that Yamaji is basically doing the most and has strayed from their traditional values. And so she's stepping into that role, and basically she's probably the in the most dangerous position, because she's essentially a mole for that organization. But in so doing, she's trying to help her allies.
Man, listen, Yamaji sold out. Like, he sold
really
out to
did.
the man.
And you could tell, like, when we first saw him, he was in his traditional garb, but then he, like, you could, like, see the symbolism of him going away from, the traditions, and then him starting to adopt more Americanized customs, as in, like, dressing in a suit and tie. And not to say that that's not, but when we were first introduced to him, he was, it says that there's three, well, there's, I guess, one chieftain, but are there two? Like, I thought there were three in total.
There were, but I think Yamaji killed him. I think he killed one chieftain. I know for sure he did.
Okay.
But like you said, with the symbolism, like, the minute I saw him in the suit, it just didn't look right. Like, he was just kind of like in the dojo, everybody else in their traditional garbs, and he just sitting there in the suit, and he done brought outsiders to the things that they hold sacred, and he basically kind of like sold the land off, and like, listen, this is the highest bidder.
You could also see it. You could also see it in, you had the foreigners, and then you had the original, the original ninjas, and you could cut the tension with a knife.
Yeah.
And also, who was the one that spoke? He was the one that Zai took out, right?
Oh, talking about when they approached Yamaji?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't one of the ones that got, sliced in half. He was the one that told them to stop, but then they decided not to. But he basically, I think it was him that said that, these people are here more to be weapons for not for the actual, not to walk the actual path that a ninja should walk.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when the foreigners was actually practicing, like, it pissed them off. It was like, they're not here for the traditions. They just here to, like, learn different techniques. And even if they do learn the techniques, they're not going to be as good as us, because they don't know the way. And that in itself didn't look right. When I saw them, like, practicing against each other, it was like, I mean, if I was in that clan, it wouldn't sit well with me either. Now, mind you, would I jump at Yamaji like that without knowing his secret technique? No, I would not. But I mean, those two dudes got force choked and sliced in half. like, oh my. You're like with Emma, being taught the secret technique by Mari, which that was like a taboo thing. Like, Mari was breaking all kinds of rules. A, you got pregnant. B, you got emotionally attached, like, more than once, technically. And then you teach someone your secret technique. And thankfully she did that, because, she was able to save Joe's life by using it. But, yeah, Yamaji got to go, man. Like, just seeing what he did and how like foreigners got into that clan and how he just sold out. He just in a suit and whatever the case may be. Like he got to go for sure. Like,
I I think that because there was a scene where he was talking to Emma and he asked her, you know, if Japan were to disappear, are the ninjas supposed to follow suit and just disappear with it? And she was like, I'm not sure. And
yeah,
so I don't know what necessitated his thought process that Japan is going to disappear.
yeah,
I think because later in the episode he basically said it was when, you know, he was making that announcement that we were going to go in a different, we're leaving Japan and going to be commanded by a great new power, and that the ninja way will not die. I will keep it alive. That is his sole purpose for doing what he's doing, although misguided. But Emma did mention that, well, he has a plan. And I'm like, well, what's the plan? Like,
right.
what are we doing?
Like, my guess is that he thinks that the ninja was going to, well, at least the clan itself was going to disappear eventually. That he knows what goes on in the outside world, and eventually they will become the ultimate power. And so it's instead of being swallowed up by that ultimate power, he decides to do business with that ultimate power and keep the ninja clan alive. And as he's doing that, make the clan way more powerful than it was in the beginning, but breaking traditions in the process. So it's almost like, I'm not saying his motives was noble or anything like that, because I can't even put him in the same vein as Magneto from X-Men. But if he got motives, which is kind of warped motives, to do what he's doing, then I got to see how this plays out. Now,
Yeah.
Zai, that is a wild card still to me, because he pretty much told Zai, like, okay, go find Joe and kill him, because you no longer have the handcuffs on you. Go do what you got to do. Like, I wonder what happened to Zai for his face to be deformed the way it is. Like,
Was his face deformed?
Well, like when he got the mask on, it like his eyes are like white, but he looks totally different from in the past. Like in Zai's face is like, you know, just regular face. And Emma had like a deformed face. Like that's why she wore the mask. But which makes me think though, like the way Emma looks now, is that the disguise that she's wearing, or is that her actual face?
No, that's the disguise.
That's a disguise. So okay. So, and low key, it looked like Emma was hitting on Joe a little bit. She was like, "Quit staring at me." Like it looked like you trying to hit on me, but that's not happening. That's not happening, Captain.
She's like, I don't date guys who are married and have kids.
Yeah. But he didn't even say anything. He's just looking at you. Which Joe has this look about him. He's just kind of like just stares. Now, but he always had that the dead look in his eyes. Another interesting thing is that Morris wasn't featured at all in this episode. Like it was all about Emma and Emma's backstory, which we all glad that she's alive, because I thought she was cooked, literally, like last episode. But I am curious on what Joe did to Lil though. Like,
well, we know that he separated his head from his body. That much is clear.
And it looked like his head was deflated.
Sure
That
did.
looked like, because he told him, he said, so, which was confusing, right? So when they fought, right? I mean, he beat the piss out of Lil, but Lil was like,
and Lil was still making. They were not thinly veiled innuendo the entire time. I was like,
no filter, none, no filter. He's like, I'm gonna do this until the end, Captain. Like we're gonna go together. And I know he bit on the bomb, but I'm trying to figure out what Joe did to keep him and Lil alive after that explosion. Like, how fast you got to go to do that?
He snatched him out that suit and disappeared.
But
because remember, she said the suit that Joe has,
yeah,
you have to visualize. And
Okay.
if you remember, right, Lil unleashed that huge fire attack.
Yeah.
And Joe basically he negated it. I don't know how he did it, but he negated it and moved so fast
Mm-hmm.
and stabbed Lil in the chest.
Yeah.
So he's literally moving. I don't know what speed at I feel like he should have broke the sound barrier with how fast he was moving.
It was light speed.
But I think that he whatever he visualized, he snatched Lil out that suit so even before that explosion, because Lil was basically unscathed, but for the stab marks in his chest. So,
you know what that reminds me of though? There's an old anime movie, which I have. It's called Macross Plus.
I
And
haven't seen that in such a long time. I don't even remember it.
such a beautiful. You know how beautiful that animation is. That animation is gorgeous. But one of the things in Macross Plus was they was designing a new plane. And in this new plane, the pilot was not using the controls at all. Like he had this helmet on, and whatever his thoughts were, that what made the plane move. And I just thought about that just now. That what Joe Higan has in his suit of armor, in his Kamui armor.
Yep.
Like he doesn't have to move a muscle. Whatever his thoughts is, that what the armor is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like your thoughts, and that's also I can correlate that with a DC comic where Deathstroke was fighting the Flash, and Flash is faster than the speed of light, but somehow, some way, Deathstroke was able to like strike Flash. He was like, "You might be the fastest man alive, but thoughts are faster than movement," or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, but okay, so you remember after he stabbed Lil. But Lil bit on a pill that blows up. So like he did it in his mouth. So I'm trying to figure out how he was able to stop that explosion.
I think that the explosion, I think what he bit was basic. It wasn't an explosion out of his mouth.
Yeah.
It was to set the suit off.
Okay. Okay.
Because if he bit, if the explosion was originating in his mouth, then there's no possible way that I could see that. What did Joe perform the quickest tooth extraction ever? So I think what he bit on is a failsafe to cause his suit to self-destruct.
Okay. And I feel like even if Joe wouldn't have moved, he still would have been straight, like with the suit of armor that he has, because you can't see that suit of armor like blowing up or getting damaged in any kind of way to the level of any other armor. But he told Lil, he was like, "Listen, your quick death ain't good enough for you. And you think I'm about to give you a quick death? You guess again, fam. I got some special plans for you." and we saw that. A deflated, severed head.
Missing some eyes. Probably his tongue was gone. I don't think he had a tongue.
Yeah, he tortured the piss out of that man. We got to know what happened to that. But maybe, it just could be on TV or whatever the case may be. But we got to know. Like,
he got that Ramsey Bolton treatment.
Yeah, he definitely got that. He definitely got that. I don't think no other ninja at that table deserved that kind of fate. Like, Lil was the only one that was out of pocket, and he deserved that. But like all the other ones, like D, D don't deserve that. Like, D just following orders. That's what he's doing. And keeping his fade intact. That's all he's doing. Like,
he was sitting across the table looking at it like, damn.
Like,
he was like, how uncouth, like, sir.
Like, get off my table. Get off the table. So the next person up is like Yamaji. Like, Yamaji is the only person that deserves that death. But now we're sitting in episode 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the head of Alza, like, he's not really that sickening kind of character like Lil is, and even Yamaji's not really a sickening kind of character. But something has to happen between episode 8 and 9 that help us grow the hatred for Yamaji, because I'm pretty sure Yamaji was the one who called the order to kill Joe and his family, and I think they I wouldn't say they stepped away from it, but You got to refocus on your Maji. But I'm still curious about Zai though. Like, what's the deal with him? Like, is Joe going to kill this man? Zai do not have a suit of armor, so
as far as we know.
As far as we know, yeah. I hope he doesn't though. I really want to
He
see
probably
that
does.
hand comment. Ooh,
I
if he
mean,
does,
they were basically childhood best friends. I mean, Murray in the flashback even said that all three of them grew up together.
Yeah. She loved them both. And Emma. Like, damn. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 rules she actually broke. Like, she broke it with Zai because she was emotionally attached to him. Broke it with Joe because she had a baby with him and emotionally, So, and then Emma give her the secret technique. Yeah. Dang, she breaking all kinds of rules. Like, she like, listen, I'm going to learn techniques and I'm going to dip. And that's basically what she did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that is our show for today. And we definitely will put out that list of anime that we're going to put out for you guys. And we had some suggestions. We had some suggestions like Shangri-La Frontier, Witch and the Beast, Frieren. That was another one. So even though we was dropping like anime recommendations, those was the ones that was on our list to do. So, and I'm gonna actually catch up on some anime after this show. So I was able to balance things out, Vivo. I wasn't just
Good
playing
job.
Helldivers 2 the whole time. But I did put in some mad hours though. I put in some mad hours Friday night and like Saturday night. Like I wasn't going to sleep till about 4. Like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I would.
It was the weekend though. It was the weekend.
Listen, I'm so glad my boss gave me today off but she was like, you need to be here at 8 o'clock bright and early on Tuesday because we have a visit. A big wig is coming to visit. And I'm just like, so you mean like 8-ish? Or she was like 8 o'clock. And I was like, well, does that mean 8 o'clock? Like I'm pulling into the parking lot at 8 o'clock? And she was like 8 o'clock. I was like, dang, okay.
But yeah, this anime review poll, I think it's going to be pretty fun. So just go ahead and get your votes on. So the voting will start tonight and it will end on Wednesday. The reason I say Wednesday, that gives Vivo and myself time to actually watch a couple episodes and review those. And we can come like every Monday after next week because Solo Leveling episode 12 is next week. So we're definitely going to review that. So the following week, we're definitely going to be covering like the new anime. And when Ninja Kamui ends, do another poll again and go from there. So you got anything else for the listeners out there, Vivo?
Yeah, didn't I send you? Yeah. We do have some I'll say announcements for upcoming anime that are supposed to be starting soon.
Yes.
So My Hero Academia season 7 is set to start May 4th. Demon Slayer season 4, May 12th. I'm going so out of order. I'm sorry. Right now, the Mushoku Tensei season 2, part 2 is scheduled for April 7th. Mm-hmm. We have Fairy Tail, the 100 Years Quest starts in July. I'm actually really excited for that.
Interesting. The Power of Friendship.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. Power of God season 2 is scheduled for July. Then we have Reincarnated as a Slime season 3 is scheduled for April 5th. Okay. Yes, I got to get caught up on that. Okay. And Kaiju number 8 scheduled for April 13th.
Yo, this hey.
Oh, and then Dragon Ball Daima is coming in fall 2024. And then, of course, you have Suicide Squad, which is set for July, but I'm not really excited for that. So there's that.
So, hold on, rewind. Kaiju number 8. When is that coming out?
April 13th.
April 13th. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. All right. April 13th. So Kaiju number 8. So that's definitely going to add that to the list for new anime to actually review. So, but you got to get your votes in, y'all. You got to get your votes in. I'm not too keen on My Hero Academia. I fell off of My Hero Academia.
Really, the
And
last season was good.
I'll force myself, man. I don't know. I think I just got disinterested. I was like,
I can understand that.
and I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened with Black Clover too. Maybe because Asta yells.
Blasphemy.
It's Asta, man. It's Asta. All
Listen,
that
okay,
yelling.
listen. I was like straight gung ho for Fairy Tale, and then Fairy Tale ended, and I'm like, well, I need something magical to watch. So then I came across Black Clover, and I was like, all right, let me try this. So I started watching it, and I promise you, Asta irritated me so much because he was literally on 100 in every episode. I'm like, bro, do you ever speak in an inside voice? Oh,
No.
you don't? Okay. And it wasn't until I like got further into the series and there was more character development that I was like, yeah, Team Asta. I mean, I have him tattooed on me now. So I love Black Clover.
Hey, I bangs with the Black Bulls though, man. I do
And
bang with them.
I feel like they did a really good job of power scaling.
Yeah.
Like every time Asta fought, it wasn't necessarily going to be a win for him. Like there were a couple of times where he got mollywopped.
Yeah.
But he learned from that. He trained, he grew, and came back stronger and better. Also, one of my favorite female anime characters is in Black Clover. I absolutely love her. If you haven't, Mary Leona, Sis Leona.
Uh-huh.
I love her. She is like the best. Because she is crazy. She's OP and crazy. I just love her.
She's female Kenpachi, man. That's what she is.
Yes.
That's what she is.
Yes.
She's a female Kenpachi. Whenever she comes on screen, I'm glued in. I'm locked in. Like she shows on the scene, like, all right, she bought that life.
Like like the last fight that she was in, she scared them. He was like, "What is happening?" She applied the pressure.
Like, you mess with the right one. That's what. Don't get me wrong. Like, I watched the most recent movie, Black Clover. Enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I need to watch that. I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Black Clover in doses because the power scaling is pretty decent in this. The most iconic scene to me is when they were doing the exams, but it was the Black Bulls all on pulled up. Pulled up. Oh boy, they're like, listen, we will end you.
Finral's little brother was about to end him.
Yeah, she's like, nah, you ain't about to do that. Like, I was like, that was gang shit. That was. I was like, okay. So, I think once people saw that particular scene and it was like screenshots all over the place for it, I think that would make people tune into Black Clover a little bit more. Now, since you like magical stuff, now it makes sense though because I'm surprised Overlord is not gonna have a new season coming out for the spring. Maybe the summer.
Oh, you know what? And I started watching Overlord. I don't know why I stopped watching it. I feel like I finished the first season because it was kind of. I think I was on this tip where I was watching, Sword Art Online, and then I went from that to watching Log Horizon. And then I went back to Sword Art Online when they came out with, was it Gun Gale Online or whatever?
Yeah.
And then Overlord came out and I watched that, but then I guess I never circled back. But I think aren't there 3 seasons right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I need to go back and revisit that.
You're one of the very few, man, that actually watched Sword Art Online all the way through, like, multiple seasons. Like, I think you're the only person I know that does that. Now, Sword Art Online, Licitization, I think that's what it's called. That one was... Did
I watch that one? Oh, yeah, no, I did.
Yeah, but I haven't watched it in its entirety, but nothing can top the first season. The first season, like... of course, Log Horizon was out. I think Log Horizon was out before Sword Art Online, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. I feel like it was. Also, Overlord is 5 seasons. Wait. No, they're 4 seasons and a movie.
Okay. 4 in a movie.
It looks like.
I got you. I think with the first season of Sword Art Online, the amount of shine that it gotten and the consequences in that season made it successful for what it was. When the second season came out, it was like and then the third like it couldn't measure up to the first season.
Yeah.
Like when you die in the game, you died in real life. So I think that would really the stakes. The stakes is what made the first season storyline great.
People should also start watching Marshall if they haven't.
Yes, Marshall is
It
really
is so fun. It is so unhinged.
Very much so. Like, yeah, you get it's hilarious.
They're like, yeah, they found out he can't use magic, and he didn't report him because we kind of screamed him into submission.
Yeah, I was like, come on.
Like what? Or when he did like capoeira to like beat one of the. I was like, what is happening?
Hilarious. I mean,
that one is good.
Yeah, that one's really good, really funny, really entertaining. You know what anime I wish they would finish to completion is like the Mightiest Disciple, Kenichi.
Yes,
they need to finish that. Like they gotta revisit that.
My favorite anime for a long time.
But it just ended. It ended at a certain point, and Kenichi has a manga that goes way beyond that. It was like, man, damn it.
Well, you know they did the same thing with Tengo Teng.
Oh, Tengo Tenge? Yeah, yo. So, Tenho Tenge. So
Tenho Tenge, right? Yeah.
You will believe why I was first introduced to Tenho Tenge. It wasn't on Crunchyroll. It was on DirecTV. It was this channel called Fuse.
Oh.
That's when I saw Tenho Tenge for the first time. I'm like, what is this? And I ended up buying like a DVD, like a set or something like that, and watched it. So I've noticed the best animation was in the first episode. They spent the bag on the first episode. Then the second episode on over, the animation was still good. But notice though, the fights were still shots. Like all of them were still shots. But that first episode was the one where, you know, when Nagi got his ass beat up against that wall, and you saw all of that. It's like, yeah, we probably won't see that again. But the manga is unhinged though.
Really?
Unhinged. Like, okay. Do you remember where Nagi and Bob was at Bob's girlfriend's house, right? It was like one of the first episodes. You remember when Bob's girlfriend went to the laundry to go do laundry? And she
got assaulted?
Yeah, that actually happened in the manga. But they implied it in the anime, but that happened in the manga. The manga is unhinged. It's definitely unhinged. But it actually finished though, and I think they had it like in a thick book or whatever.
Okay.
So you can find them.
See, now I'm gonna go find because I remember watching the anime and I really liked it, and then like with the way they did it, it just ended. I'm like, where's the rest?
Yeah. And go ahead.
But what about Nanatsu no Taizai or Seven Deadly Sins? Apparently they have released another movie. Is it a movie?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Did you watch it yet?
Series. No, I fell off of Seven Deadly Sins. I really
because now they've gone towards like the CGI, more CGI. Then you're like, why?
Why did you do this?
I mean, the first season, well, because they switched animation studios mid season, didn't they? Yes. And then everybody was complaining about the quality of the animation going down.
Trash. It's like, man.
Because that first season, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then, because I was trying to get my sister to, resume. Because I was going to watch. I was invested in the story at that point. But she was like, I'm not watching the rest of this because the animation, I can't.
Yeah. And I think that would turn a lot of people off of Seven Deadly Sins. Like, the animation wasn't hitting because, the studios got changed out. And, like, I don't think people was really paying attention to the story after that. Now, other than Escanor, where he was introduced, because when he was introduced, I was like, yo, people tuned in for that because I want to see how strong this man really is. And we found out firsthand, like, how strong this cat really is. And I'm looking for him to be in like a death battle or something like that. But Seven Deadly Sins is on there. Is on Netflix. The
Yeah,
new. I'm
I
not sure if
remember
it's a
there was
movie or series.
controversy around it too because people had an issue with Meliodas and the Elizabeth pairing, but more so Bond with was it her name Elise?
Oh, the fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like thousands of years old or something like that. But
No,
I guess
they had an issue. They have an issue with it because she looks so childlike, and he's a. I mean,
he's a grown man. 4 Nights of Apocalypse. It's 11 episodes.
so I'm
And
gonna go watch that, and I'll get back to you.
I think I watched like the first half of the episode of it. It's about Percival. Percival turns 16. His grandfather tells him about the big world beyond their far-flung home. But
So it's
the
their
young man,
kids.
but the young man seems more interested in dinner, and I think he's in relation to Meliodas. But again, I haven't been following like Seven Deadly Sins after a certain point, so maybe I'll have to go back and finish it. I'm gonna have to.
That'll be my research project for this coming weekend. I will report back.
Yeah, I'll give it another shot. We'll see. We'll see.
All right.
But that's our show for today, man. And I will be back tomorrow for some more geekdom goodness, and I'll definitely be talking some pro wrestling. As far as the news over the past weekend and up until this week. So, again, we will be putting out the poll. Putting out the poll for the latest anime that we're gonna review. So, go ahead and get your votes on. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Bye, y'all.